Hello everyone, I'm Ashna Anjum. Today I'm going to talk about keywords. What are keywords? Keywords are basically the reserved words which have some special meanings, or you can say there are predefined certain meanings of those words which are already known to the compiler, and we cannot change its meaning, and therefore we cannot use it in our usual program. Like if we are making a program of addition and we are taking int case, then that will lead to an error. Why? Because we are taking variable name as case, and since case is already a keyword, we cannot use it as a common variable or identifier name. So keywords have special meaning and they are reserved, thus we cannot use it as a common identifier. Now there are 32 keywords: auto, break, case, char, const, continue, default, do, double, else, enum, extern, float, for, go to, if, int, long, register, return, short, signed, size of, static, struct, switch, type def, union, unsigned, void, volatile, and while. These are the 32 keywords of C, and in this video I am specifically going to talk about the keyword auto, and in the rest upcoming videos I am going to explain the rest 31 keywords of C. Now what is auto? Auto is basically a local variable storage class. It is the keyword which is used to define the automatic variables, and this makes a variable local in nature. Now local in nature means that the variables are local variables, and thus in whichever block or scope we have declared those local variable, they will remain or they can be accessed within that scope only. Therefore we can say as soon as the program control comes out of that particular scope, the lifetime of the auto variable ceases. Therefore we can say that whenever the program controls comes out of the brackets in which I have declared, or we have declared the local variable, the program will show error if we will try to access that variable outside the scope in which we have declared it. Okay. Now the third point says that even when we don't use auto keyword before any variable, then also by default it is auto in nature. Therefore even if you write auto keyword in front of the variable or you don't, then also by default every variable is auto in nature until and unless you give any another storage class. Now you can say like register or static, until and unless you give any other storage class. Okay, if you don't give any of the storage class to the variable in front of the variable name, by default it is auto. Okay, and the initial value by default to every automatic variable is garbage value. Now what is the syntax? Syntax of making an automatic variable is that you have to write the keyword auto. Now this is the reserve word, then the data type like int, float, long, char, whatever, and then the variable name. Whatever the variable name you choose, it should never be a keyword. And the next way is that you simply write the data type and the variable name. There is no need to write the auto keyword. Okay, and that is the reason that it is irrelevant to many of the programmer, because in our usual practice we simply write the data type and the variable name, but we don't know that when we simply write the data type and the variable name, that variable is auto in nature. Okay, so therefore it is irrelevant to many of the programmers. Now example is that example for the above syntax is write auto keyword, the data type float, and the variable name b, or you can simply write float b. Now see this example, I have written void main, and inside this bracket I have written auto int c equal to 10 and int d. Okay, now see in front of int c I have written auto, but in front of int d I have not written auto. But it does not mean that d is not auto in nature. Even if we write or if we don't write, the variable is by default auto in nature. So both c and d are local variables and are auto in nature. Now you can notice I have given the initial value to c. Okay, so therefore c is consisting of value 10. But you can notice that I have not given any initial value to d. So what will be the default initial value of d? The default initial value of d will be garbage value, because it is automatic variable, and the automatic variable by default has the initial value garbage value. Okay, and the scope within which we can access c and d is this. If we will try to access c and d outside this scope, you can notice this bracket, this is called scope. If we will try to access int c and int d outside this scope, the program will show error. Let's see this practically. I'm using the code block compiler to compile that program which I was talking about. Now see, I'm writing here the keyword auto, then int c, and inside this auto int c variable I am storing 10. Okay, and then I'm taking the variable int d. Now remember, I'm not writing the keyword auto in front of int d, but it does not mean that int d is not an automatic variable. It is the automatic variable, and notice that I'm not giving the initial value to this variable d. So since it is automatic in nature, it should consist of some garbage value. So now I'm printing the value of c and d. Okay, so I'm writing %d. Okay, %d, then I'm writing c. First I'm printing the value of c, I'm giving /n so that it does not look messy on the output screen. Again I'm writing %d, and this time I'm printing d. Now remember, I have given the initial value to c as 10, so it should print 10. But since I have not given any initial value to d, and since it is auto in nature, therefore it should print some garbage value. Now let's build and run this program and see what is the output. You can see that the value of c is printed as 10, but the value of d is printed as 55, which is a garbage value. Why? Because I have not given any value to d, and then also it is printing value 55. Okay, so this is all. Now let's do some more programs. See this example. In this program, void main, in the bracket I wrote int c is equal to 10, and I closed this bracket out here. Okay, and after this line I again made a new bracket and I closed this bracket here. Okay, and in this bracket I again wrote int c equal to 20. Now you can see that I have declared a variable twice, but remember, this int c has the scope from here till here, but this int c is local to this scope only. Therefore the c which I am talking about in this scope is different from this int c which I have declared within this scope. Okay, so therefore if I am printing the value of c, it will print the value of c, this c, that is, it is going to print 20. But in this case here I am writing printfc. This is outside this scope, isn't it? But this is inside this scope, so it is going to print the value of c as 10. Okay, so these two C are automatic in nature, and we have defined the initial value of these two C as 10 and 20 respectively. But remember the another concept of automatic variable, that the automatic variable creates local variable and the lifetime of those variable remains throughout its scope. Now the lifetime of this variable is within this scope. Okay, therefore this printf is not printing 20 because this int C is local and can be accessed only within this scope and not outside this scope. But in case of this int C, this can be accessed within this scope, therefore it will print 10. But now a question will strike to you, that if this int C can be accessed till here, right, then why this printf is not printing 10, right? Now remember, the priority concept is also taken in consideration. Now if there are two variables of same name, the priority to the variable given is the local variable. Now to this scope, which is more prior, the local variable which is present inside this scope is given priority. It will not give priority to this int C. Why? Because this int C is not present in this scope. The variable which is present inside this scope is this int C with value 20. Therefore this printf is going to print the value of this int C and not this int C. Now let's do it practically, then it will become more clear. Now I'm writing the program which I was talking about, int C equal to 10. Okay, now you can see that I'm writing this int C within this given scope, right? So this int C can be accessed only within this scope. If I will write, if I'll try to access this C outside this bracket or anywhere outside this bracket, it will show error. Again I am giving another bracket, and inside this I am writing int C equal to 20. Again I am writing the variable name as C, but this time I am giving 20 to it, and I am writing printf. Okay, and I am printing this, and I am giving a new line character as well, C. After this again I am writing printf %d, and again I am printing the value of C. Now remember that in this line I am printing the value of this C. Why? Because this C, the C with the value 20, can be accessed only within this scope. If I will try to access this C outside this scope, it will show error. Therefore, and since this C, the scope of this C is within this bracket, right, the bracket with the blue color. Okay, so we can, therefore when we are writing outside the scope, again the printf statement, and we are printing C, therefore it is going to print the value of this C. Okay, because the lifetime of this variable is within this scope and the lifetime of this variable, okay, is within this scope. Therefore this printf is going to print the value as 20, and the second printf is going to print the value as 10. So for the output, let make it more clear. I'm printing a message also. The value of C with 20 is equal to, and the value of C with 10 equal to. Now let's build and compile this program. Now you can see the value of C with 20 is equal to 20, and the value of C with 10 is equal to 10. Okay, I hope you understood everything about the auto variable, that what is the default value of auto variable, that is the default initial value of the auto variable, and what is the lifetime of the auto variable. Thank you for watching my video.